Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be chairing a panel of esteemed guests at the Horasis India 2021 meeting. We are here to discuss an important issue which has gained more prominence and urgency in these pandemic times, the India's new education policy. If India is to contribute handsomely to the world economy, the need for upskilling is now even more imperative. NEP 2020 assured that education becomes more interdisciplinary and multilingual and gave broad guidelines on how the states and institutions should implement the NEP 2020. The NEP 2020 offered a more liberal education and vocational training to address the future technological, social, and leadership issues at a global level. It was rooted in the ethos of the country and was mindful of the fact that India will have world's largest workforce by 2027. Similar to the concept of Bhumiputra, or son of the soil, this education policy has taken birth from the soil itself. It is no longer a derivative of any education system, but truly designed to represent the 5,000 years of educational strengths of India and represent its rich cultural diversity. NEP clearly has the stamp and vision and mission and eye for detail of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In 2008, when we set up the Global Indian Mahatma Gandhi Eklavya School for tribal students in Gujarat, we experienced that education was very close to Mr. Modi's heart. And when we suggested that these tribal students actually learn agriculture farming while learning vocational skills at a school, he immediately sanctioned a 10-acre plot next to the school for farming. So we have personally experienced his passion in education and in educating the poorest of poor people living in rural areas, and especially those from the underprivileged and remote corners of the world. Some giant steps mentioned in the NEP include the replacement of the 10+2 structure of education with a 5+3+3+4 model. And at this stage, the NEP also suggests introduction of multiple choices of subjects. An important suggestion was related to the exams, a topic which is close to all the parents' hearts, as well as Prime Minister Modi. The NEP suggests that the students appear for only 3 exams in grade 2, 5, and 8, and there won't be any final exams for the remaining 7 out of 10 grades. In 2014, we made a representation to the PMO that educational quality frameworks like Malcolm Baldrige and standards should be introduced for all educational institutions. We had mentioned that there were no mechanisms to assess the learning outcomes. Glad to see standards are now part of NEP and will be managed by an assessment body. And a new standard will be established for this by PARAK, the body for performance assessment, review, and analysis of knowledge for holistic development in higher education as well. The General Education Council will be framing graduate attributes, or namely the learning outcomes which are expected to be delivered. It is also be responsible in framing a national higher education qualification framework, taking in the best from Baldrige, Deming, and other quality education frameworks. Other suggestions that we have given were to separate the regulatory functions from that of managing operations and have clear and distinct KPIs for the MHRD functions. We are glad to see that the Higher Education Council of India will be set up to regulate the higher education. Some of the main ideas under NEP are formation of the new education institutes and bodies using fantastic new concepts that will be advantageous to the student community, parent community, as well as other marginalized and underprivileged sections of the society. While a brilliant concept of an academic bank of credit will bring the concept of credits into mainstream education, a National Research Foundation is also aimed at improving research and innovation to foster Indian talent and educators to create some of the best products and services for the world. The National Education Technology Framework, or the Forum, which will facilitate exchange of ideas on technology usage to improve the learning outcomes in students. And the policy proposes new language institutions such as the Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation and the National Institutes of Pali, Persian, and Prakrit, which is aimed at gathering knowledge from different parts of the world and adding to our existing knowledge base to enhance the education for all. All of these are very important futuristic steps to give the nation the right tools to navigate through the challenges of a new world, which will emerge as the world's progress towards a post-COVID society. As the chairman of Global Schools Foundation, NEP has given us hope for a more exciting and a wonderful future for the upcoming generations, who are bound to be benefited from these initiatives chalked out for their betterment. The possibilities are infinite, and when these ideas are coupled with a power and innovative streak in India's youth, all we need now is a proper channeling of this power in the right direction to give wind to our sails. How are we going to do this? And what do we need to do in order to prepare ourselves before the start of this new journey? This is what we will discuss with my esteemed panel today.